Deputy Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga's keynote speech placed a huge emphasis on women empowerment in the sector. The Deputy Minister joins me now. Good evening to you and welcome. The future of transport does not exist if women are not equitably represented in it. And that in mind, let's talk about some of the ideas you presented in that keynote, starting with promoting women access to male-dominated industries. And we'd like to understand which industries and how will the Transport Ministry promote this access?
Good evening, and thank you for having us. First thing that we think we need to do, and we are already doing, is to actually provide skills to women, particularly in terms of education. As a result, as the Department of Transport, we are actually funding 330 students at different universities, and we are actually giving them bursaries from the Department of Transport on transport-related courses, so that when they complete, we can then employ them within the Department of Transport. But more than that, we also have decided, as you will know, that in 2007, we formed a structure which is called South African Network for Women in Transport, where we look at opportunities that we can give for women in terms of cooperative entrepreneurs, businesses, and all that. And we make use of those and we avail those to women who are in the transport sector. And as you have rightfully said, transport sector all over the world is male-dominated. But we are trying to actually bring in the issue of gender equity. When I joined, for instance, the Department of Transport in 2012, we had 12 state-owned companies, which we still have, and 12 of those were led by male CEOs. Today, we now have 5 women CEOs. In the department itself, we had DDGs who 100% were male. We now are having at least DDGs who are women. So we are trying to do that, but we believe that we will never be able to transform and bring that gender equity if we don't prepare people, we don't prepare women. Because we don't want to appoint women simply because they are women, but we want to appoint them because they qualify and they have what is required for them to perform those responsibilities. Yeah. And Deputy I can Minister, tell you now, the CEOs that we have are doing exceptionally good work.
Deputy Minister, just listening to what you're saying, I mean, there are, complex opportunities for interventions to be made, and there are some basic opportunities for interventions to be made. And I'm referring here to the structural impediments to women in the transport sector. Because we look at the very basics, like a driver's license. Only 21.8% of females have a driver's license compared to 40% males. And inside that are also gender and racial disparities. Black females recording the lowest percentage compared to women from other population groups. How do you activate the potential that rests here?
And that is why I'm actually talking about training, because one thing about the Department of Transport or transport sector, it is highly technical. So even for driving, somebody must be trained in order for him or her to drive. And therefore, you need to train those and give and make those opportunities available. At some stage, some of our state-owned companies were actually saying they will go to universities and go to high school so that the driving license becomes something that you have at a high school level. Of course, you'll need resources. But as we do that, we prioritize women. The 330 students that we are funding from different universities, 60% of those are women. And even within the Department of Transport, we have the unit that is responsible for the training and the upskilling of the employed staff. And we are prioritizing women because we'll never be able to empower them for as long as they don't have the necessary technical skills that are required within that Department of Transport. You can never be a pilot. You can't be, for instance, an air traffic controller unless you have been trained. Now, we need therefore to say to the academies that we have for the air traffic controllers, for instance, prioritize women. And I emphasize personally the fact that some of those women should come from the rural areas, but from the farm areas as well. And we are trying to do that. It's definitely going to take long because for all the time, men have been 100% represented in this sector. And therefore, to make a difference, to begin to say, this is the number that we are introducing within the resources that we have, it's going to take time. But we are making a difference. Like I'm saying, to have 5 CEOs who are leading state-owned companies, the companies or within the Department of Transport that are highly technical, such as aviation, for instance. Within the aviation sector, the SACA is led by a woman and is doing exceptionally well, getting clean audits and awards from everywhere. With the CEO just this year that was called by US to get an award, I think it must have been this month, to get an award from South Africa. Right. Recognized by the world. It actually talks to the good work that they are doing. And we have not been giving them those opportunities. So we are beginning to do some difference, but it's going to take longer. But we are committed.
Deputy Minister, I'm only loath that our interview is on a hybrid and not on Zoom, because I wanted to ask you so much more about those opportunities, and it certainly sounds like there's a lot to celebrate in the sector, notwithstanding the fact that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, an intense focus even on just reverting to the basics. But I want to raise this with you really quickly, since you are with me. We're carrying a story tonight with the Transport Minister saying there's going to be a forensic investigation into the Yarona Public Integrated Project in Rustenburg in the Northwest, and I'm sure you know the story already. This project hasn't been completed more than 10 years after it started. Now, in order for us as citizens as well to trust the initiatives you're making, credibility and accountability are incredibly important. And I think, we would like to understand why the department doesn't know why this project is still not completed. We have a situation where almost all of a 4 billion rand budget, I think 3 billion's now been spent. It's gone. And we only have a few shoddy, unroadworthy buses to show for it, and a whole terminal that's incomplete and vandalized.
I was not with the Minister at Rustenburg. However, if he made such comments, it's because I know for sure that he was there, and he must have made some findings about that. It doesn't mean that the department, particularly the public transport branch, is not to account as to why do we have a situation such as that one. I know for sure that we are actually also instituting forensic investigation in Mangaung, because also there we found that instead of actually ensuring that we have road infrastructure, they use that money for purchasing buses. The budget, the money that we send to municipalities for the ITP, as you have said, it's not meant for buses. It is actually meant for the road infrastructure, so that then the municipality will ensure that there are buses on those roads. But it doesn't happen. And if it is spent wrongly, then of course we've got to institute a forensic investigation. I wasn't with the minister, so I may not know exactly as to what it is that he found in Rustenburg, because I wasn't there and he was only there today. So I will still get the report about it. But if it calls for forensic investigation, I know the minister will actually say we constitute that, and people must be held accountable. And if it means that people must be arrested, so be it.
Deputy Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga, thank you for your time. Appreciate it.